Hi, my name is Becca. Welcome to my channel if you're new here, and if not, welcome back. I am a busy homeschooling mom of 3 little kiddos. I've got a 5.5-year-old, a 2.5-year-old, and a 2-month-old that I am currently nursing. So if you do hear some noise in the background, that is why. But I am also a working mom. I am a registered nurse at a local hospital here. And so I really do have my hands full. And because of that, I'm very particular on the type of curriculum that I choose for my children, because I have to be able to give them, one, the education that I really want them to get, but it also has to be very easy and flexible for our current stage of life. And so this video is just going to be a little bit about that. And so for starters, I have learned that I really need a curriculum that is open and go. There is curriculum out there that does involve planning. You need this certain materials for this project or these books, and that's fine. But if it's not open and go, it has to be a curriculum that I could be able to get ready for in advance without a whole lot of stress. So one of the curriculums that we do use is, even though we're a secular homeschool family, we do use the Good and the Beautiful for math currently. One of those reasons is because it is open and go and very easy. Now, math is not one of my strong suits. It caused a lot of anxiety growing up because I was one of those kids that was kind of lost in the shuffle. Everyone else kept advancing on to the next concept, and I wasn't grasping that concept then. So it took a lot more for me to catch up on, which is, one of the reasons why I do homeschool. And so I was really drawn to the Good and the Beautiful math because it is very open and go. The lessons take 10 minutes, if that, and it also comes with the manipulatives with the curriculum, and it was a very affordable price. Now, as a secular family, if you are secular, you understand that it's very hard to find secular curriculum out there, and so I was okay with the math from the Good and the Beautiful because there wasn't any religious information that was put in there. I think there was one lesson where it talked about Jesus being a shepherd, and it was a picture of Jesus with a bunch of sheep around him. Now, for me, that wasn't an issue because I just changed the sentence to the shepherd and his sheep, and we didn't talk about, Jesus as a person at all. So if that is something that you are concerned with as a secular family, just know as at least for the kindergarten level, there was no religious information that I had to omit. So we did use that. Now for reading, we do use All About Reading, which can be time extensive if you don't set it up in advance. So I do have a video. I don't know if it's already been out, or if it is, I'll leave the link down below. If not, it will be coming out shortly here. It can be time extensive if you don't do it in advance. So I have set up the curriculum in a way where I just pull out like a sheet protector that has everything in there for me for that lesson, and then that makes it really easy for me to be able to just open and go. Another curriculum that I did use for the same thing, same reason, was Build Your Library. That is a secular curriculum. I love that. It does include a lot of different subjects like history, geography. It listed all the books you need or the video links, all that stuff in there. We don't currently use that because of the time. So even though it had everything laid out, there were a lot of books that we needed to hit, and even though I didn't even read all of the books that were on the list for that lesson, it did feel overwhelming at times. And so we did do Around the World, which I believe is the kindergarten level for Build Your Library. When we completed that, I was just about due with my infant here, and so I knew that I didn't want to do another build your library during the season of also having a newborn. So while I do love that curriculum, and we will be using that level again in the future, and we'll be using the other curriculum, I'm not using it in this current season because I didn't want to add to the overwhelm. So that was really important to me, is that the curriculum that we use is very open and go. Another thing that I look for in curriculum is price. You guys, homeschooling does not need to be that expensive, but they kind of pry on the fact that, 2020 homeschooling exploded, and there's so much information out there. It can be very overwhelming, and I feel like sometimes it's kind of exploited to a point, right? Now, do not feel like you need to purchase something, but as a mom who is busy and has a lot going on, I don't want to add that time to my day in looking for a unit study. So for example, right now we are doing Little School of Smiths. I love them. We are using them for the New World, I believe is what it's called, and then Anatomy. We're doing both of those through them. I would rather pay her, the $30 for that, instead of having to take the time to compile all of that information myself, which would take way too long with the limited time that I do have. I'd rather use that time, playing with my kids or spending some time with my husband. So I would rather save my time in that respect and do it really inexpensively. I could do it cheaper, obviously, if I did it myself, but that wouldn't, that costs time too, and that is something that you also have to consider. But I'm not going out there. There are some science curriculums that are $200 or $300, and not everything in that curriculum is reusable, and I can't afford that. So even though something like, for example, All About Reading, it is an investment. It's like, once you add in all the stuff that you need, it's about $200 with shipping for me, or $220, I think is what I spent just for level 1. But I can reuse it. So if it's going to be a big investment financially for me, it has to be able to be reusable so I can use it for my other children. And I can justify that cost. But you need, don't feel like you need to spend tons of money when it comes to homeschooling. That is completely not necessary, especially in the early years. So I really look at how easy is the curriculum, is it open and go, but then financially too. I also look for the curriculum that is interesting for my child. So when we were done with Around the World and all those things, and we were able to free up some time, I knew I wanted to do something else for science that wasn't like nature study. We spend tons of time outside, and we could do that without a curriculum at this point. I don't need a formal curriculum to teach us, the different kinds of trees or the bugs and stuff like that. We could just learn that out in nature without a curriculum. But I just went up to my son and I asked, and I said, hey, I want to do a unit study for science. These are your options. What do you want to learn? And my son chose anatomy. I'm like, perfect. As a nurse, I already know a lot about that. And I found a really affordable curriculum to kind of go along with that. So if you're kind of wondering what to do with your homeschooling, you can always just ask your child, say, hey, what are you interested in? Or just observe what they are doing in their in their day-to-day. Maybe they are super interested in bugs and you want to get a curriculum on that. Perfect. There are tons of resources out there that you can build yourself or purchase from someone else who has built that for you. So really look at your child and see what they're interested in, and then see what is needed for you to be able to accomplish that. If your child is interested in something, they're going to be more interested and willing to learn that information versus something that they aren't interested in. And that's one of the beauties of homeschool. I feel like sometimes homeschoolers, we get in this trap of, what are these kids learning in public school? What kind of science are they doing? And for me, for my family, I couldn't spend an entire year learning about, you know, life science, right, as a formal curriculum. Now, we could talk about that throughout, you know, throughout the year, and that's fine, but my son would get bored on that. So we do unit studies, and we just, you know, we do one unit study at a time, and then we go from there and move on to the next one, and that works really well for our family. So please, if you have anything to add, any tips or tricks or things that you look for in your curriculum, leave a comment down below, share it with all of us. You know, most of us are all homeschool parents here, and we all want what's best for our child, and maybe you have some valuable information to add to other people that are looking for the same thing. Please give this video a like too if you like this kind of content, so I know to get making more of this in the future. Until next time, bye guys.